Welcome again to Edupedia World, your one-stop solution for all your educational needs. If you can recollect, in previous videos, we discussed about various concepts of marketing and sales. We discussed about evolution of marketing, services, and other aspects of marketing as a subject. In this video, we'll talk about the most important factor of marketing process, that is consumer and their purchasing behavior. To begin with, let's understand what exactly the consumer behavior is. Consumer behavior studies how individuals, groups, and organizations select, buy, use, and dispose of goods, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy their needs and desire. Now here if you see, any consumer purchases a goods or services if he has the needs and desire. For the satisfaction of those needs and desire, he goes out for the purchase. So the consumer behavior is the entire process of not only individual but the group as well as the organization, the process how they identify their need, how they select, and how they proceed towards purchase in order to satisfy their needs and desire. Now if you see, consumer exists in a market. Now there are various factors playing in a market. So broadly here we divide those factors which influence a consumer purchasing process, a consumer mindset, into four categories. First is cultural factor. What exactly it is? Now if you see cultural factor, this is the factor which exert broadest and deepest influence. In order to make it simpler, we have decided this cultural aspect into smaller factors like subcultures, social classes. Now if I talk about subculture I mean nationalities, religions, geographic regions. Now from a marketeer perspective, consumers following into subculture categories, more or less they follow same kind of purchasing pattern. Also, people from specific religion or geographic region, they follow more or less similar kind of process of purchasing. If I talk about social classes, it has been seen empirically, people from the same occupation, education, their area of residence, they follow very much similar purchasing process and they go for very much similar products. So this helps, these factors, they have an impact on the consumer buying process, and it also helps a marketeer to identify those consumers which follow similar trends with ease. Now after cultural factors, if you see social factors. Now social factors has various aspects, right from reference group to membership, primary and secondary membership, aspirational versus dissociative, family, social roles and statuses. Now in order to explain what exactly is reference group. Now, a reference group consists of all the groups that have a direct face-to-face or indirect influence on the person's attitude or behavior. Now, groups having direct influence on a person's are called as membership group. Some membership groups are primary in nature. It means they have got direct influence and they interact regularly with a person, such as friends, neighbors, co-workers. If I talk about the secondary groups, they are religious, professionals, trade union groups, which are a bit formal in nature and require less continuous interaction. Now, if you see about aspirational and dissociative groups, aspirational groups are those a person hopes to join. A budding footballer wants to become a professional footballer like Cristiano Ronaldo because he feels that Cristiano Ronaldo belongs to a strata where he commands respect, he commands name, fame, money, power. So he wants to be a part of that group in which Ronaldo belongs to. So that becomes his aspirational group. Dissociative groups are groups with whom I don't want any kind of association. The groups which individual rejects. To give an example, people who are into drugs, peddling, people who are hippies. I don't want to be a part of that group. So for me, that becomes my dissociative group. Now coming to family. Family, we can see there are two types of family over here, family of orientation and family of procreation. Now, family is the most important consumer buying organization in society. And family members constitute the most influential primary reference group. Now, what is family of orientation? Family of orientation is a family in which I am born to. I will have parents, my siblings, and family of procreation is my family. I get married, I have my wife, I produce my children. So that is family of procreation. Now, even social roles and statuses, they also influence a consumer purchasing process. Now, a person's position in each group can be defined in terms of role and status he plays. A role consists of the activities a person is expected to perform, and each role carries a status. To give an example, an administrative officer has more status than a sales manager, and a sales manager has more status than an office clerk. So people choose products and services that communicate their role and status in society. A company presidents often drive Mercedes, wear expensive suits, and drink Johnny Walker Black Label. So these factors, social factors, they play a very important role in the purchasing process of consumer. Now we'll see about the personal factor. The third influencing factors which plays a very important role on consumer mindset before making a purchase is personal factors. When we talk about personal factor, I mean age, stage in life cycle, occupation, economic circumstances, lifestyle, personality, and self-concept. All these factors, they play a big role. If I talk about age, a teenager might be having a different kind of purchasing pattern than a consumer who is 50 plus. Stage in life cycle, it depends. If I'm a bachelor, what will be my requirement? If I'm a newly married guy, what will be my requirement? If I have got grown-up children, what my requirements would be completely different. Occupation is very important. In which kind of job I am in. If I am a judge, I'll be having a different purchasing pattern. I'll be going for different set of goods and services than a sales manager, than an engineer. Economic circumstances, how much I'm earning. If I'm talking about lifestyle, am I an adventure guy, or I'm a family man, or a conservative individual? Personality, which kind of personality I have? Self-concept, what I think of myself. I will purchase only those products which will reinforce the way I want to be seen in the market, seen by the people. So I will make purchases like that. Now talking about psychological factor, there are different aspects of psychological factor. Motivation, perception, learning, beliefs, and attitudes. Now if I talk about motivation, motivation for me is a need that is sufficiently pressing to drive the person to act. It is pushing me towards a job which I need to accomplish. Talking about perception, it's a process by which an individual selects, organizes, interprets information, inputs to create a meaningful picture of the world. Learning, belief, thought a person holds about something. And attitudes, persons enduring favorable or unfavorable evaluation towards some object or idea. Now these are factors, four important factors which influence consumer in the market, and they influence the purchasing process of consumers. With this, we come to the end of this video where we discuss about the very basic of consumer behavior, the factors which influence consumer in the market. And I hope you enjoyed it. The next session will talk more about consumer behavior. We'll talk about characteristic of organizational buying behavior, then consumer buying behavior, and so hence and so forth. Till then, be good and keep learning. Thank you so much.